Hello, it's Reynoso here to preview the quarterfinal matchups of the Women's World Cup. Now, if y'all remember the last time we spoke about the Women's World Cup on this channel, it was me, my co-host Altero, and Adriana Monsalve. Who is it going to be? Who wins this tournament? I said I'm going with Spain.
The U.S. I'm still confident.
If I have to pick one, I'm just going to say Germany. Let's just go Germany.
Okay. Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Now, that might be the reason that I'm here doing this episode solo and they're not showing their faces, because Spain is the only team that remains in this tournament. Germany got knocked down in the group stage off of a crazy conundrum of results. And then Adriana Monsalve saw USA get knocked out against Sweden in one of the most dramatic penalty shootouts I think I've ever seen. I cannot believe it. And first and foremost, I need to hear from Adriana what she thinks about that match.
I'm still in shock over what happened in yesterday's match. It's unbelievable. Somebody pinch me, please. Wake me up from this horrible nightmare. The US is out of the tournament with an early exit. No three-peat for the two-time world champions. Isn't this the biggest disappointment for the US women's national team? Yes, without a doubt. We had huge expectations for this team. They've been the team to beat for a number of teams all over the world. Here are two reasons why Team USA got eliminated from the World Cup. Number one, they're in a transition period. The experienced players on the team didn't perform their best, which made it harder for the younger players to adapt to the biggest stage in soccer. In her fourth World Cup, Alex Morgan ended up scoring a goal, which is really unusual for the fifth on the all-time leading scorer list. Megan Rapinoe missed a penalty kick on her final World Cup match, and Rose Lavelle couldn't even be at the most important game in the tournament due to yellow card accumulation. They never performed their best. Reason number two, other teams are now playing at a higher level than they did in the past, and now there's less of a gap between how well they're playing. This is undeniably the biggest disappointment for Team USA. But we can't forget that this team has a lot of talent and can bounce back from this huge loss. Plus, there's a new generation of players that can learn from the mistakes they made in this World Cup.
I completely agree. The biggest disappointment in U.S. women's footballing history, in my opinion. And I think just the overall talent that this team had just wasn't enough to fully compete for a title here. Alex Morgan only got 1 assist in 4 matches despite starting every single game. Sophia Smith, although incredibly talented, I never really saw her get the full assistance that she needed from either her midfielders or her forwards. And I think that really played a big role in her not really being able to go off in this tournament the way that I thought she would. And then lastly, missing Lavelle in the midfield in this match I think was massive. I mean, if anything, her IQ and her ability to win the ball back and then pull the strings behind that offensive line was so important for the USA. And I think her not being there just played such a big role. But props to Sweden, who held this game out like no other, using what I would call Jose Mourinho tactics in the process, essentially sitting back and letting the USA come at them and challenging them to see if they can actually formulate a goal-scoring opportunity. And ultimately, they didn't. Sweden was very smart about how they approached this match, but it concerns me. It concerns me, especially when they're set to face off against a fiery, a clinical, and a team that has nothing but momentum in Japan. This quarterfinal matchup of Japan-Sweden will be an incredible one to see, but I only see Japan winning it because Japan is, with Hinata Miyazawa, 5 goals and 1 assist in this tournament. Are you kidding me? 6 goal contributions so far? It's looking like Messi at Inter Miami right now. It's insane what she's producing at this level, and this team as a whole has 14 goals overall in the tournament. 14. That's ridiculous. And knowing how Sweden approached that match against the USA, if they try to do the same thing against Japan, they're not going to have a good time. Japan is going to come out firing. They're going to get their goals, and they're going to win this match. I have Japan winning it and Sweden going home. Next up is Spain versus Netherlands, and I actually want to kick this over to Adriana Monsalve to see what she thought about both of these teams and their previous matchups.
Spain is a powerhouse with 2 of the best players in the world, Aitana Bonmati and Alexia Putellas. La Furia Roja has scored 11 goals so far. The Netherlands game has gotten more creative than ever. They strategically place players in different positions to get a better result depending on who the opposing team was. And that tactical flexibility has given them a better game.
I gotta say, I'm with you here, La Monsalve. I really am. This Spanish squad, this Spain team, to me, as I picked early in the tournament, scared me with that result against Japan. And that scared me going into the knockout matchup that they had against Switzerland. But Switzerland did not show up to this tournament. And just like the men's team as well in the round of 16, they got murdered. And Spain goes through. So shout out Spain. I'm with you. Aitana Bonmati looks incredible. 2 goals, 2 assists last match. And this matchup against Netherlands is going to be a classic one because I think they're very, very close. I would not be surprised if it goes to penalties because the Netherlands also has some standout players to counter the standout players that Spain has. Jill Roord with 4 goals in this tournament so far, and Esmeralda Brooks with 2 goals so far in this tournament. But man, she has been so much more than a goal scorer on that left wing. She has been providing so many good passes. She's a dangerous threat on the counter, and I really like her IQ on the ball. If anything, look out for her to surprise and potentially get a goal in this match. Overall, though, I'm going to stick with Spain because, like I said before this tournament, I just think they have too much class overall that is going to override this Dutch team, and I see Spain going through. Australia, France. This one just screams fun. Did y'all see that crazy matchup between Australia and Denmark? Although the result might not show it. 2-0, Australia wins that match comfortably, but the atmosphere, my goodness, it was mesmerizing. It was so freaking loud in that stadium for the host nation that I honestly, man, how could you not support this Aussie team? It's incredible what they've been able to achieve so far, riding that host momentum that every World Cup host country has had, but actually being a really solid team to back it up. Performing in this tournament without their star, Sam Kerr, who's been sidelined due to injury, but still finding ways to win matches. And that deserves a lot of credit. I think that midfield pairing of Katrina Gary and Hayley Raso has been so fundamental to providing this Aussie team success. They are the nucleus of this Aussie team, and with them, they'll be able to compete in every single matchup, in my opinion, even if it is against a team that I see as better in France. France coming off of an insane 4-0 victory over Morocco. A blowout, folks. An absolute blowout. Hervé Renard's French team continues to look very, very strong. And one of the best players at this tournament, Le Sommer, has shown up once again. Paired up alongside Diani, this attacking duo is scary. They're really scary. And I'm interested to see how Australia deals with that. A team that is purely capable of scoring 3 or 4 goals on your freaking head. But with that home crowd, I want to go Australia, man. I really want to go Australia. But I know that France they have a great head coach. They got a great system in place. This one's actually incredibly tight. I'll say this. The fact that Sam Kerr got 10 minutes off the bench, her first appearance in this World Cup, and what a massive, beautiful moment in this tournament to see her come on. The fans were on their feet applauding the arrival of the greatest player in Australia's history. If she can get more than a half in this game against France, if she can get more than 45 minutes, I got Australia winning. In those 10 minutes that she showed up in that Denmark game, you could instantly see the physical prowess that she has, the tight dribbling ability that she also has as well, and the class and level she is above the rest of the competition. I think Australia does need Sam Kerr in these final matches to be able to crown themselves World Cup champions. But the option is there. It's just a matter of, if the footballing gods can give Sam Kerr the health that she needs to confidently play in this quarterfinal matchup. If she does, I have them winning. So I'm going Australia in this match. And lastly, we have Colombia against England. England coming off of what I would consider a disappointing match against Nigeria, ending 0-0 and then going into penalties. And then Colombia coming off of a really, really good win against a sturdy Jamaican team that had not been scored on this entire tournament, but finally saw themselves concede to this amazing Colombian offense. I mean, names like Uzme, Ana Guzman, Linda Caicedo, Lacey Santos. This Colombian offensive line is probably one of the funnest ones to see in this tournament because the quality, and not just that, the flair that they all have is incredible. They've created themselves a knack for scoring incredible goals. Ana Guzman sending a perfectly floated ball to Uzme, who then brings it down incredibly well. What an amazing clinical finish and shot to give them the 1-0 lead. And you just see them dance their way to celebrations. This Colombian team has so much momentum, so much magic behind them, and it's beautiful to see, man. It really is. And I would like to see them continue that line of success against an England squad that I expected more of. I think this English squad just is a little confused right now. Doesn't have that full 100% fluidity that we thought they would have. And I actually compare them a lot to the U.S. women's national team as well, because it's a team that has a lot of good talent, but they might be a little overrated in my opinion. I think coaching decisions have kind of come into play as well. What is Chloe Kelly doing on the bench? I'm truly curious. I saw her whole run during the Euros, which I thought was really, really good. And then her technical abilities showed in that penalty shootout, scoring the game-winning penalty to give England the victory. Did you see the placement on that shot and then the power she put behind it? That was a statement in my opinion. That was her saying, please, for the love of God, start me. I deserve it. The Man City winger deserves that credit. And I want to see that happen because it honestly reminds me a little bit of like the Rodrigo Valverde issue at Real Madrid with Ancelotti starting Valverde for a while and then having Rodrigo come off the bench. And although he would shine, eventually he would come to earn that starting nod. I think Chloe Kelly is in a very similar situation here, battling it out against Alessia Russo. But Alessia Russo only has, 1 goal in 4 starts? I think the results have shown. Start Chloe Kelly and good things will happen in my opinion. Still though, I have Colombia just going on this magical run and seeing this game out and winning. I know that England might be the favorite going in, but Colombia just has crazy amount of momentum behind them. And I think they're the story of the tournament so far. And if we can get an Australia-Colombia matchup in the semis, I think that'd be so fun. The last thing I want to do is kick it over to Adriana Monsalve because she actually has a beautiful piece on the Brazilian team and specifically on Marta, who needs to be acknowledged on this channel for what she's done for women's football all across the world. Adriana, over to you.
Marta Silva. Her inspirational career was addressed in her beautiful speech for the press, which made everyone emotional about how influential she's been in bringing equality to soccer and inspiring younger generations to do the same. It wasn't easy for her to make a name for herself as a soccer player from Brazil when there were already so many successful male players from the Canary squad. Marta is a true fighter and a living legend. She represents soccer greatness, resilience, and the finest technique on the field. She scored some of the most amazing goals that have made the world fall in love with her game.
Sabe o que é legal? É que quando eu comecei a jogar eu não tinha um ídolo no feminino. Vocês não mostravam o jogo do feminino. Como que eu ia ver? Como que eu ia entender que eu poderia chegar a uma seleção, me tornar uma referência? Hoje a gente sai na rua e as pessoas param, os pais param e falam: a minha filha te adora, ela quer ser igual você. Ah, e não é só com a Marta, é com outros atletas também. Então hoje a gente tem as nossas próprias referências. Isso não teria acontecido se a gente tivesse parado nos primeiros obstáculos. Então, e a gente pede muito para que a nossa geração continue a fazer isso, continue a inspirar cada vez mais meninas, meninos. A gente virou referência para muitas mulheres no mundo inteiro. Não só no futebol, no jornalismo também.
Thank you, Marta, for being an inspiration for me and so many other people these last 20 years. The Women's World Cup will never be the same without you. Obrigada, Marta. The Women's World Cup is getting better, and I'm excited to see which team is going to prevail as champions. See you next week at The Give and Go. Back to you guys. La Monsalve.